And
Didn't they start an alliance or some shit?
I don't know. Let me check. But I don't think so. Political view alliances. No. I think it's just that guild.
Gotcha. No, Chozen saying they started an alliance with 2 people.
Alright, yeah. So Jun left one for whatever reason, and they made their own alliance called Daddy.
Oh yeah,
They
with
joined
Wesley Superior, right?
yeah, vastly superior. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
probably the most irrelevant alliance you could imagine. Absolutely terrible, Goats. Terrible. Actually, they'll be the most irrelevant once Wen disbands.
Oh, do you have some breaking news on that? Are they disbanding now?
Oh, I don't know, but I imagine Syndic quits the game again because he can't build a GvG team, which is why he quit in the first place, right?
Oh Jesus.
No
Honestly,
comment.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I spent months trying to build a GvG team in CIR, but there was no quality players, and Syndic's not that great himself, so
Ooh, shots fired.
kind of unfortunate. Big waste of my time.
I think people love to hear the story of how you ended up joining Poe and then leaving Poe. I'm kind of curious.
Sure. I mean, I guess that'd be kind of interesting for people to hear from my perspective.
Yeah, no, I would love to hear from your perspective. Everybody hears Syndic plenty.
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of the long story, I guess. So obviously, the entire coalition thing happened. Maybe not everyone's aware of that. Money Guild owned Mercia for a prolonged period of time. Then, we stagnated. People got bored. CAR, Blue Army, I guess everyone else in the server, Famiglia, 1PG, etc., joined forces to siege Money Guild. We ended up losing a fair amount of our territories. As what it is. I'm not going to sit here and rattle off excuses. I could, but I'm not going to. So we kind of got decked down, and we had to rebuild. Bunch of things happened, Kargira got banned for kill fame boosting or whatever, and CIR started having a bit of a hard time at that point. But they managed to hold on. They eventually found a good replacement for a tank, and Saint God, I think it was, one of the Brazilian boys from Fus's group, and we fought back and forth for a little bit. It got kind of, I don't know, I guess it was kind of stale. I never really saw CIR personally as my enemy in this game. Like, whatever happened with the coalition was, I don't know. It was kind of boring for me, like at that point in the game, it got kind of stale. But the coalition itself kind of made it a little bit more interesting. And then after that, it was just nothing really. We ended up fighting a little bit. Then we ended up having a non-aggression pact. Because there was, I suppose I wanted to focus more on NA content at the time. Like, we could just fight back and forth between CIR and Money Guild, and we could keep each other busy. Or we could just, just essentially split Mercia down the middle. And
Now, what season? What season was this for everybody that isn't familiar? What happened?
this was so the end of season 2 is when the coalition started happening, and it came a little bit too late to prevent us from winning the season. So we took the season 1 and 2 back to back, and then in season 3, I guess, was when at the start of season 3 we had lost a lot of steam, and CR and Money just ended up entering NAP together. Because fighting each other was it wasn't beneficial for either of us. Like fighting over Mercia is incredibly costly, and more over time it just became less and less viable to fight over, because the cost of fighting over Mercia stayed the same, but the rewards became less. So we ended up having a non-aggression pact. I personally ended up focusing on the NA side of things for the most part, and I think we were fighting 1PG NEU a little bit, but they're an NA guild for the most part, so there wasn't really a whole lot going on.
So after that, what I know there was kind of a big war going on, and then some stuff happened with Fleet and some other stuff, and then you ended up in Poe. Why don't we get to that?
Okay. So the stuff that happened with Fleet was a whole part of like the coalition. When CIR started pushes and GvGs, the Fleet essentially refused to help us with okay, so from my point of view, the Fleet is essentially the entire reason that the coalition or the whole beef with CIR happened in the first place. You know, I believe the main issue was Asian Tan, which was a Fleet member was marking against CIR or something like that, and the Fleet
Yeah,
also.
they kind of fought for whoever had the most money.
Yeah, and essentially the fleet wanted. We had a meeting, and the fleet wanted to push into Cumbria. You know, like I guess their team wanted content or something, because I was happy to just sit in Mercia. But so I guess they pushed. I'm not 100% sure on the details here. Like I said, the game is pretty uninteresting at that point in time. But as far as I know, the fleet essentially wanted to fight with CIR, etc. And then that kind of happened, but then ended up being Moneygeld that had to fight everyone because the fleet just wanted to do whatever, you know, they wanted to avoid hard fights. Which I don't know if you can necessarily blame on the team at the time, because as far as I'm aware, something that I learned later was that they were actually self-funded. Despite the fleet being one of the richer guilds in the game, they wouldn't support their GvGs.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's true.
And
That's pretty stupid, to be honest.
yeah, in a situation like that, I'm not entirely sure why any GvG team would stay in a guild when they can literally get support anywhere else.
You know,
I mean, isn't it pretty standard operating procedure? Any GVG worth of shit gets funded by the group they're fighting for, usually.
Yeah, well, in Money Guild, we fund anyone. Anyone that wants the GvG and can make their own team and put the team together, we will launch attacks and we will gear them. So I don't really understand how the Fleet's A team wasn't getting funded. And I think that was actually one of the main issues, because the Fleet wanted to fight CIR, but then when the push came to shove, I think the Fleet won the first GvG against CIR's main team actually, and then they lost the second, and then he didn't want to fight them again, which, you know, makes a lot of sense now that I learned that they were supplying their own gear. Because nothing was IP capped at the time. No, I don't think any zones were IP capped at the time, so it was expensive to GvG anywhere.
I think the Royals always were, but the Black Zones weren't at that point.
Unless Tank wants me to say penis. I don't know why, but there you go.
I think you fulfilled your duty already.
Okay, so how did you get into? I guess how does this lead to you joining?
Okay, so I mean,
Syndic and all
essentially,
that
like
shit?
the whole beef with CIR for me, like it wasn't really something that I cared about. You know, I had my enemies in this game. You know, Exertion, which later, I wouldn't say Exertion essentially became Blue Army, but to some extent it did. So like it was Exertion, and then it was Blue Army. Essentially, for me, it was anyone that was unwoke, right? And CIR were like a natural ally for us to some extent, because we had the same enemies for some time. You know, they were fighting Team Casualty in Cumbria, we were fighting Exertion and Mercia, and they were both part of the Woke Alliance. So the whole thing came around with the coalition, and for me, I never really took that personally at all. Like it never made whatever beef I had with other people irrelevant. You know, it never made, like, I never put CIR as like my main enemy at any point of time. So I guess essentially it just made a lot of sense to farm a nap with CIR, and I think I just decided to like downsize Oops at one point, and I just reformed it as a different alliance completely. And we just had our NAP, and I was just doing my own thing in like the east of Mercia and NA time zone, and CIR were doing whatever they were doing in the snow zones in Cumbria. I don't really know. I wasn't really following that part of the game that closely at that time. So we had that whatever. We had the fighting between CIR and Money Guild, and then we just napped. And then what led to essentially joining PoE was that my lines was too small, and that was what I wanted initially. Then I realized, okay, we don't really have the numbers to like compete, you know, like in ZVZ and open world. And even though I'm a GvG player, like I still want my guild mates and my allies to be able to do open world like whenever they want. And being in a smaller alliance doesn't really lend itself to that unless you have active shot callers and leadership in your guild, which I didn't really necessarily have at the time. So joining PoE just so my guys had more content, it just seemed like the best choice. And I also personally thought that Money Guild plus PoE together would be able to fight squad in open world, which actually, unfortunately, at the time, didn't really happen. You know, squad was still significantly better than we were. I feel like when I joined PoE, like PoE was already kind of broken in that regard. There wasn't really a lot of motivation to fight squad on open world, which I guess is kind of where all the content mandatory denial of content memes came in. And when I say memes, it wasn't really a meme. It was real, you know.
Well, you guys, I mean, blue balling somebody is a valid form of defense or offense.
Yeah. It is. Blue balling is a valid form of defense, but unfortunately, when you do it as much as PoE did it, you're blue balling your own guys too.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's either blue ball or hell dunk, right?
Oh, that's such an Eve meme, man.
Yeah, I
Such
know.
an Eve-
So anyways, see, you're in Poe. Obviously, we were both in Poe at the same time. So I guess from that point, Syndics goes AFK. I guess what happened? What happened at that point?
Well, to be fair to Syndic, he wasn't, as far as I'm aware, he wasn't like AFK. Like from what I'm led to believe, he was significantly less active after Money Guild joined. But like, I played with Syndic daily. You know, like I guess he had some issues with his GvG team. I think he fell out with some guys, and we did try to rebuild. We tried to like patch it together, and like Kolnos and I were consistently playing with CIR at the time, and you know, just to keep the alliance afloat, I suppose. You know, we just merged GvG teams to have like just to hold on to shit, and I guess like Syndic ended up going AFK significantly later because, like I said, we spent quite a long time. Like I said, I played from every day trying to build something else within CIR itself, and it just wasn't going to happen. I guess the quality of players wasn't there. You know, like after like Kargera and Bodavij and stuff, like either left or went AFK. So like rebuilding GvG team just wasn't. It just didn't seem like it just didn't seem feasible. You know, it wasn't going to happen. We spent a long time doing it. We were doing crystal GvGs every day with different people, consistently losing crystal GvGs. And I guess like as top end players, it really wears you thin. You know, like it becomes incredibly frustrating after some time.
Yeah, you just don't want to get a nosebleed every evening. It's just not enjoyable. All right, but did you leave Poe before or after Syndic went AFK?
Okay, so the reason that I personally,
Because first off, to give the perspective that Syndic spins, right? Is he goes AFK, you backstab, steal all his guys, rip apart Poe, etc., etc., etc.
okay, yeah. So for me, like when I joined
Your
PoE,
work cut. I think Volt will cut out again.
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Steal all his guys and then you cut out.
Sorry about
I
that.
thought you just stopped talking. Honestly,
It's fine. You get the idea. I mean, we all know the bullshit that's spun, right?
yeah. So when I joined PoE, like I essentially resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't going to be leading, and I was okay with that. And I wanted to just support the alliance and do what I could for the alliance to the best of my ability. Because as I said before, I felt like joining forces was the best way to combat squad's dominance at the time. You know, like just set my ego aside, just be a team player. And you know, for the most part, that's what I did. I just did what I could, where I could, when I could.
So what you're saying is you were actually on Team Poe. It wasn't some massive conspiracy to fuck over Syndic.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever alliance or guild I'm a part of, I'm playing for that guild and alliance. Like no matter what, you know, like nothing I'm doing is like a snaky power play. Like I'm not going to join another alliance to try and take it apart because it made no sense, right? Like I said, my enemies at the time, or I guess my enemies even now, were squad. Joining PoE was like a natural, like like I said, a way to fight squad, and hopefully it would turn out better than being separate entities. You know, I mean, like, look at Oops now, right? Like, the current iteration of Oops is essentially a merger between Oops and End of Story Alliance. You know, Take Care joined Oops, and it's a success. It's a fucking massive success. We have GvG and ZBZ, and I believe we're better than Squadded both. And I feel like that's what I wanted PoE to be at that point in time, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But that didn't stop me from trying. I kept trying, you know. Like, I was there, I was Team PoE. Like I said, I played with Syndic every day to try and make something for CIR. Like, within my own guild, I had a fair amount of GvGs at that point in time. You know, like, we had our downswing and we kind of made our comeback. But I don't think we had any set team necessarily because I was trying to work with CIR, like work with Syndic specifically, and it wasn't really getting anywhere. And I guess he just stopped. I mean, obviously he had real life stuff come up. Like, don't get me wrong, I know he had real life stuff come up, but I guess between being busier in real life and the frustration between trying to make something that wasn't really working out was just enough to make him want to stop. Like, and I don't blame him for stopping. What I don't like is that, like you said, he tried to spin it as me backstabbing almost immediately. When I think, like, everyone else that was in PoE at the time, everyone that was there, except for some reason CIR, it's just like a collection of grumpy old motherfuckers, dude, that think everyone out to get them. You know, like, they just think everyone is out to get them. I don't know
no,
why.
it's paranoid, tinfoil hat, fucking, yeah, like the whole spinning backstab. I mean, depending on the week, I'm either spying for Blue Army, spying for you, spying
And
for
he caught him
Tortor.
again.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this shit.
You need to fix your mic. I don't know what's wrong right now.
Alright, you guys keep going. I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna fix my mic.
Alright. Like, for me, the stuff with PoE, like, I was on board. And even when Syndic went MIA and they gave leadership to Helo, which absolutely no one in their right mind wanted to follow, like, I was still on Team PoE. I still tried to make it work. Like, even when Syndic was there, like, people were coming to me a lot because Syndic was less and less active, right? Like, I had to drop the GvG plans, I had to make the teams, I had to find the teams and the players so that we could retake things on reset day because inevitably it went bad against Squad. And we would have to clean up both fucking continents. And we did that. I mean, the worst month that we had was 1 month where, like, I wasn't really making any moves. We were just kind of waiting on Syndic to make the call, make the plays, and he just never really showed up. So then I started taking on more and more responsibility, which I guess is when people maybe saw that as me making a power play and trying to backstab. But all I wanted was to keep people happy and keep shit going. And I'm pretty sure that Hammer and Sickle and Say My Mellotron saw that. I would say those are the main people at the time. Like, they're the guys that I wanted to stick with. And, like, I saw, like, what they did for the Alliance. Like, you know, like, Say My Mellotron's always done their best. Like, they're a smaller guild, but they've always done their best to show up to ZVZs and participate in GvGs where they can. And Hammer and Sickle, obviously, an amazing guild in its own right. You have Magdapark leading that. He's an amazing guy, great guy. Anytime you need him, anywhere you need Hammer and Sickle to be, he'll show up with as many men as he can pull. If it's, you know, if it's the prime time,
That's a Russian thing, I think.
Yeah. If it's the prime time, he'll bring 150 men. If it's 4 AM for them, he'll still bring 30 guys, and he'll be there himself. He'll be there personally, you know. Like, I don't know. Like, those guys didn't deserve absent leadership. That's why I stepped up. But at no point did I ever want to take over PoE.
Yeah, but they still felt like it was a backstab, even if you just left, because you dragged people with you.
The thing is, I didn't want to leave PoE either, and if I did leave PoE, my intention was never to drag people with me. I left because I was literally being backstabbed myself. Helo was in talks with the other guilds of PoE. I don't know if he was speaking with everyone, but I imagine he was. You know, like 2 or 3 different guilds came to me and essentially said that they were meeting with Hero, and he wanted them to vote kick Money Guild from PoE so that PoE could move to Anglia and avoid fighting Squad. And they knew that with Money Guild and PoE, they would always have to fight against Squad.
That is honestly kind of fucked up. But weren't they in Cumbria themselves?
They were in Cumbria, but they wanted to sell up and they wanted to move to the west of Anglia. Or not the west of Anglia, like, just somewhere in Anglia. Could have been East Anglia, West Anglia, I don't know. But they wanted to leave Cumbria and Mercia completely.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
I think that was Syria Hero's idea to leave and rebuild was spending as little as possible, you know?
Mm. So, but what was the was there like a certain point where you just pretty much where you would just leave no matter what, or just a certain thing happening?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry, I was checking Discord, I got completely distracted.
Was there a certain event that pretty much drove you out the door at that time, or was it just accumulation of all the things?
I mean, it was a bit of an accumulation. I mean, like I said, like when people started coming to me saying that Hirohito was trying to get money out kicked out of PoE, I wasn't planning to stay. I mean, he was the leadership, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, but you then left PoE, and what did you do after that?
I think when we left PoE is when I immediately reformed Oops, I think. And then we just yeah, I think I immediately reformed Oops. We grew pretty quickly. And we had some good times. I think we had like the first couple of weeks were pretty good. We gained a lot of momentum. But we were winning ZVZs against squad, and then unfortunately, like as always with this game, things escalated to an extent that no one enjoys. You know, everything ended up being zone capped. The fighting became less and less very quickly, very very quickly. And I personally like lost a lot of motivation for the open world aspect of the game after that, because it's just, you know, we'll like zone cap, a squad will zone cap, or at least that'll be the story, right? Like even if you only have 150 in the zone, the other guys are gonna say, oh, they zone cap. So I think we actually like we reformed, we gained a lot of steam, and then we quickly lost a lot of steam. And then I think we kind of went a little bit quiet for like 2 months, which was, you know, it is what it is. So I guess like reforming Oops, it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for either. But it was better than being in PoE, at least, under Hirohito.
Okay.
And okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I mean, obviously, like, when EOS formed the end of story or whatever, like when Ellipsis came back to the game, made Take Care, is when things kind of became interesting. Like, I was kind of looking at that, and I kind of knew, like, there's no point in them having their own alliance when Oops is already a thing. It's like if we both want to fight squad, the best way to do it is just to like merge up together. And I kind of knew that we would end up together at one point if I just kept things neutral and didn't push too many buttons. So I just waited it out, and as always, you know, people start causing drama, and EOS ended up disbanding. Like they had way too many egos in that alliance. You know, you had like Broke Boys, you had Scuzz, you had Redneck Faker, like you had like it's just this massive collection of guys that
A tribe full of chieftains, so to say.
well, people that think they're chieftains, but they're not really chieftains. Yeah, like you know, just a lot of ego for essentially no reason, and then end up falling apart.
You almost made me spit my gin and tonic out.
Oh, hey, Gluttony.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Derek?
Yeah, what's up?
Sean.
So
What's up, dude?
I could offer a little thing about Oops. I would say that Oops is it's pretty crazy, having played since 2017. I remember back in October of 2017, everyone was celebrating. Oops is finally done. They're done forever. Like, they're defeated. You guys lost like a bunch of territories, and people had ganked up against you. And I remember thinking, damn, it only took 3 months to get these guys out of the game, and everyone was celebrating. And then every single time people think Oops is dead, you guys come back. So I give you credit for never giving up and persevering. And hell, I mean, 4 or 5 times I think people have said Oops is dead, and look at Mercia now, and you can't kill Oops, I don't think. You can kill them, but can't defeat them.
Can't make them stay dead, right?
Right, yeah. So, and you know, Derek, a lot of people talk shit about you, but you do have that ability to not give up. So I think perseverance is an important thing in games like this.
Well, I think if you look at the map, I think the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the success in that case speaks for itself.
I think even now, like Oops has always been strong in GvG, right? And they've always had good teams. Now their teams are by far probably the best, right?
Well, actually,
and on top of that, they have very strong ZBZ now with Take Care and leading the way. I mean, it's sort of like Blue Army is the squad, what Take Care is to Oops now. Like they're both like two super strong guilds that are probably equal with each other now. And so I feel like Oops is as strong a squad in the open world.
Gluttony,
So
you're
Oops
kind of
has a
hot.
bunch.
Gluttony, you're kind of hot.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
You're pretty hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Loud is what he wants to say.
Okay. You can probably adjust my volume, right? But yeah, I mean, and it's not just Take Care, right? Oops has several strong open world guilds: Scoia'tael, Hammer and Sick.
Yeah, we do.
Even Money Guild's actually stepped it up a bit in the open world. So yeah, Oops is probably stronger than ever. So testament to your ability to never give up, Derrick. Props.
So I kind of want to get into a couple things here. First off, we had some pretty massive leaks. We reported on it like a month and a half ago, I think, when we had our first show about the changes to GvG. I'll pull those up here.
For us again.
God damn it! Are you serious?
So you're talking about the leaks from the roundtable, and all credit goes to Manchild for those.
Yeah, so I've got them up on the screen there. We got from a post from Seldom.
And a cutout again. I don't know what's wrong with your thingy today.
Let me reset it.
Well, while we wait for his microphone to come back, I can say this about
Is that better, guys?
about those changes. So I mean, I think if you look at most of these changes, there's four major things that are coming, right? So one is there's a new map coming, right? So everyone knows that the map's gonna be like a big circle now.
Yeah, we
so
got
it'll be about the same size as before, or as it currently is.
Gluttony, you're getting louder, dude. Like,
well, your microphone doesn't work, so I don't know. We have to find a sweet spot in between no one talking and me being too loud.
Yeah. Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead, man. This is the fucking Arch takeover, baby. Let's go, man. Let's go.
I'm just looking forward to all the fucking blue donut memes in this game too.
anyways, I got the changes up on the screen here. If you want to talk about them, Gluttony.
That was what he was trying to do. Go ahead, Gluttony.
No, I'm getting messages
like,
from a bunch of people that you're just getting really loud. Is all.
Volume thing is something you can control on Discord. So if you right-click my name,
I keep turning it down. You keep going up, dude.
like I'm not snorting coke right now. Like my voice isn't like growing exponentially louder by the second. But yeah. So like the first thing about the change is the map's gonna change, right? So it's gonna be one big circle with no more Carleone going to the Black Zone and just the Royal Cities starting the Outlands. Like that'd be the only way in. And then as you progressively get closer to the center of the map, I guess the zones get higher. So I think that'll be a major change, obviously, because people, are used to this. Oh, well, Mercia is on the other end of the map, and you'll never see people from Anglia. I think in this, like, with the map being circular, you'll probably run into people more often as at least the higher level groups as you move towards the middle. And they haven't released a ton about the map, but I mean, I think they've been saying that's the map will be a fundamental way the game has changed in terms of, how alliance size matters and things like that. So that's a major change. And I don't think anyone's opposed to the map changing, right? Have you guys heard any feedback about people saying, oh, we don't want a circle map, we want a super long line?
I haven't heard anything negative about changing the map. I don't think people enjoy the way the map is currently. Or maybe for us it feels really bad. Like being redlocked is horrible. I proposed to the Alliance that we whitelock instead because it gives more access to different groups of people, more content, west, east, whatever. But people are so set in their ways. So we said in the east of Mercia, yeah, it's absolutely by far the most boring thing in the world, man. Like there's just nowhere to go. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, I think you could say it's boring, but I also think those are commercially the best zones in the game. I mean, there's the only places to do T8 maps. It's the highest level of enchanted resources. So, I mean, there's a reason I guess it's boring is because you've defeated everyone there. But even so, I mean, I know I personally still play in Mercia, so yeah, I think most people are generally cool with this map. The map now,
No, I
is,
haven't.
I'll never see people in Western Anglia ever. Like I just, it would take me 45 minutes to ride over there. And there's something cool to that because one group can't be everywhere. But I think interaction between groups will be cool in the new map.
Yeah. If you were to take Mercia and put it in essentially the middle of the Outlands, the way it is now, if you go to the middle of the Outlands, you get this big open body of nothing, right? There's just this circle of water. You could literally just lift up Mercia, put it in there, and the map would be 10 times better.
Yeah, I mean, like let's say someone from Anglia wanted to, okay, we're gonna, just go to the toughest spots in the game. Like they can't get there either. They can't go do a T8 map without riding 45 minutes the other way. So yeah, I think having the best zones in the center of a circular map will make for some cool gameplay and some cool interactions between groups.
Yeah, and more interaction means actually more content, more fighting, etc. And that is pretty much what drives this whole game.
More tiers, more people.
Yeah.
We're getting a Blue Army CTA because they lost. So
Someone, it looks like Dirty is saying, "Oops, just destroyed squad again." And like I said, man, Oops used to have a very poor open world, but these days, Oops is just as strong as squad, if not slightly stronger. I mean, I think they're neck and neck because I think Blue Army and Take Care are pretty much neck and neck. And honestly, if I had to just give my third-party opinion, I would say that while Blue Army and Take Care are kind of even, I think that the other guilds in squad are probably a little bit stronger than the other other guilds in Oops are probably a little bit stronger than other guilds in squad. I mean, I think the second two strongest guilds in squad are AW Gaming and Made in VR, right? So I think maybe Scoia'tael and Hammer and Sickle might be stronger than them. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see Oops winning, beating squad and castles.
So we
I don't
covered
know if you could put AW there.
So we covered the map. I mean, there's quite a bit in those leaks. I mean, let's go into the rest of it.
One thing, Derek, do you like about AW Gaming? Like they were in Oops, they were in squad, they were back in Oops, now they're back in squad. What's up with that? I mean, they're like, they bring a ton of people to ZVZs, like 100 people. Is it just something where it's like you made them an offer, and then squad made them a better offer, and then you made them a better offer, and then squad made them the betterest offer, or how did they jump around like that?
I don't know if I don't know what squad offered to AW Gaming, but I offered them fucking nothing because they're worth nothing. They're worth.
I wouldn't say they're worth not.
No. Bringing numbers is all well and good, but look at us now. We don't need AW to have numbers. We still pull numbers, and our ZVZ is still as good as it was when AW Gaming were here.
Yeah,
essentially, AW Gaming left for. I don't even know what happened why they left. I guess they just got snaked, Little Mojo playing his games, and they came back because I don't know, they're friends with Ellipsis or some shit. And they left again because there was some drama. They dropped Alliance to try and kill a couple of Hammer and Sickle guys because they took Old White or some shit. And Mark is a fucking macaco. But
and that means coffee in Brazilian, I think, right?
Something like that. Yeah, okay. But they weren't allowed to come back essentially.
Yeah.
They dropped tags, they wanted to come back and they weren't allowed to come back. So they get the consolation prize. They get to go lick Mojo's balls.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd be a good fit in Arch because they bring a lot of numbers, and some of them are skilled, but most of them are just sort of foot soldiers. But yeah, I mean, anytime you can bring another 90 people to a ZVZ, it certainly helps, even if they're on the level of ego or something.
They would be a good fit in Arch. Wow. I don't know why they even stay in squad. Being the number 2 Brazilian guild in squad must be a kick in the dick. Like, Made in Brazil are a lot better than AW Gaming. And Mojo treats Made in Brazil a lot better too. So I don't know why they haven't left.
I know he likes Made in BR. I don't know if I would say Made in BR is better than AW Gaming at this point. I think, honestly, they're probably pretty close to being even. I know Made in BR has some bangers, but AW Gaming has actually been stepping their game up. They're running bomb squads now and things like that. So, man, I know Mark 2K is I forget the word you used, but I also think he's pretty good, obviously, getting his boys together. So, but yeah, Mojo definitely favors Made in BR over AW Gaming. But they've been around squad longer, so it kind of makes sense.
So, out of curiosity, because I've heard this from a lot of people, what is the start of your beef Derrick, between you and Chozen?
Oh, you cut off again.
Yeah, between you and.
Sorry. What's the source of the beef between you and Chozen?
Me and Chozen? Who is that?
He who shall not be named.
I honestly have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Okay. Okay.
I
Anyways,
think he doesn't want to talk about it.
no, that's fine. Moving on.
I want to say one thing. I want to give a shout out to Chozen because he does that AO News show. And if you're a nerd and a loser like me, and you play Albion a bunch, and you read Reddit about Albion, and you write potentially paragraphs about Albion, it's kind of cool to listen to a interview show. And you guys do it once a week, but Chozen's out there doing it every day, and it's like he's got the inside SBI news. So while yes, he is kind of a Blue Army fanboy, and I think maybe he's started to change that a little bit. He was also, you have to remember, he was also very fanboyish for Money Guild back in the day, too. So I think, it's just a little bit natural for him, whatever he's with. But I think he puts out good content, and same with Bogle. So they're doing a good job. I'm not sure where the beef comes from. I have a guess, but...
Anybody who's providing content for the community, we should all support regardless of what they're doing or who they are. Like Lupac and the rest of them, right?
Not Lupac. Anyone but Lupac. The guy's videos are terrible. Clickbait titles, man. The last 10 minutes plus every one of them. You can condense all of his videos into 2 minutes. So the money grabber did. Fuck Lupac.
That's fine.
He brings
he's got some good looking pictures out there.
He brings a lot of visibility. He brings a lot of visibility to the game. That's what
I'm only kidding,
about.
man. Lupac's my boy. Everyone go check out Lupac's YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and he cut out again.
I was saying he brings a lot of visibility to the game. He's got a lot of followers, and is always streaming.
Any people that if you stream Albion, that's definitely a good thing for the game. Because streams are how people find the game. Even like someone like Jonah Fails, even if he shit talks the game a bit, it's still 150 people watching the game. So
yeah, for sure, man. Like I'm actually part of the Crayon Club. Lupac subscribers, and I don't know. I think his stream's really good. He's a lot of fun with the game. That's good to see.
So, what about the other changes? I mean, obviously the map. I don't think anybody gives a shit about the map. I think that's fine. But what about the essentially getting rid of GvG?
Yeah. So first of all, they're not getting rid of GvGs. So let's go through the other changes step by step, right? So I don't have to stream up, but the other big ones are GvG territory control will be moved to an open world system, right? And essentially 5v5 competitive 5v5 like the GvGs as we know them now will be moved to this Crystal League system.
Yeah, I got that up right now.
Yeah, so what will happen is, these players. So I don't want to leak too much in the roundtable, but
it's
SBI
up on fucking. I got the roundtable fucking post up on the fucking live stream, so you can leak away.
Oh, wait, are we allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm having a fucking drink, so.
Oh, you are drinking? Sounds like my buddy Jason who drinks a lot, where the words start to slow down and slur a little bit, but that's fine. What are you sipping on?
Gin and tonic.
Are you talking like plastic handle gin or like glass bottle gin?
Like Rangpur Tangeray. Fuck that shit.
Dr. Dre fan. Okay, so the changes, right? So they're pretty sweeping change, like core changes to the game, right? Because Albion is always like, oh, if you have 5 people, you can take territory. But what they, didn't necessarily think about was, well, all you need is 5 people to take 50 territories, and 5 people become super important. And SBI has come out and said that, in a system where less than 1% of the game participates, that shouldn't be like the end game content in the open world. Instance fights that represent less than 1% of the game. Why is that controlling every territory for 99% of the game that does not participate in it? So, and remember, people are like, "Oh, Gluttony just wants all these changes for him." Like, do you think SBI as a company that is focused on making money is going to make a change because of one fat Wendy's employee? Probably not. Right?
I sent you the changes.
They have dollars in mind, so they know, like, they see the numbers, player statistics, retention statistics. So they know that, you know, for a lot of guilds and a lot of players in this game, that's a frustrating thing to, you know, how hard it is to be able to live in the black zone because of, you know, you don't have 5 super dedicated and good Dota players.
I don't know, man. Like, for me personally, like, I don't play this game for GVGs. It's what I do, but it's not why I play. You know. I don't really mind if they remove GVGs from the territory control system. And like I explained to all of my guys, which calms some of them down, most of them don't give a fuck about the territories anyway, right? Like, a lot of the GVGers do play the game for the 5v5 content, and that's fine. Which that also means most of them don't actually use the territories that we're securing anyway. I care about it because it makes my guild happy, it makes my alliance happy. My GVGers don't need to care about territory control. So I don't think it necessarily hurts the 5v5 players that much, and I think a compromise could be found. The Crystal League that was proposed is really bad, but there's a lot of time to like change it and refine it into something that could actually make sense and be enjoyable. But I'm also pretty sure that they're not going to go through with the open world changes to own territories because of the backlash. And if they do, for me, the way I see it playing out is essentially it's just going to be zone caps and people farming up 2 hours before, and that's not really fun for anyone involved either.
All right, so let me speak to some points. So there's a vocal minority. So let's say less than 1% of the game were to quit. Everyone who has GvG quits, right? So you're losing 1% of the game. While it would suck to see anyone quit, sure. First of all, people, anytime a change comes in this game or others, people are like, this game's dead, I'm quitting, right? So remember when they took, like when you dismounted and they changed the cooldown when you could attack someone on dismount. So many people, that was a pretty big change to the game because, you know, it changed the way you killed someone in the open world and ganking. And so many people were saying, I quit, I'm quitting this game. Dude, very few quit. And the game is probably as much better because as soon as you see someone, they're not instantly dead, right? So that's how the old ganking system was. So SBI has to make changes, continue to improve their game, even if it changes some core aspects of the game. So while I would never want anyone to quit, if the game is made better for everyone and more sustainable for everyone and becomes a more popular game, and 1% of the game, if every GvGer quit, which will not happen, like you have to make changes like that. It's a business. They have to make the game as popular as possible.
What's the same shit?
As far as saying, oh, well, every fight for a zone is going to be a zone cap. So how often do we see zone caps now, right? We see them sometimes on reset day in maybe 5% of the fights. And we see them sometimes at a war camp or a castle. And it's really, unless you're in Oops or Squad, you really are not ever going to see a zone cap fight. So maybe there'll be zone cap fights for like the best zones in the game every once in a while in an open world system. Zone cap fights happen rarely now. So like I said, unless you're in you know, Oops or Squad, you probably are never seeing a zone cap fight.
But I think they only.
So I'm not sure.
Right,
I'm not sure where this fear comes from. We're like, oh,
Gluttony.
There's going to be 15. Please, brother, please let me finish. If there's going to be 15, listen.
Let people talk. You talked over people a couple times, dude.
Let me just finish my point here.
Let him finish.
If there are one zone cap fight a day now in the entire of Albion, right? If this system promotes like, oh, I'm getting 15 attacks on my 15 ZBZs for territory control in 15 different places, how on earth would anyone, even the largest alliance, zone cap 15 different spots? Right? So, while yes, and personally, I hate zone cap fights and I hate big fights. I think this game shines in 50 to 100 v 100, right? Anything larger than that, people's computers can't necessarily handle it. With the zone caps, it sucks, or it gets laggy from the servers. So I think that you know, the smaller scale fights are truly where this game is the best. And I think this system, I don't think anyone wants to see a system where it's, oh, everyone's putting 500 people in one zone. Like, and I don't think that the system will work out that way based on how you can spread out your attacks in multiple places at once. It's not like, oh, at 18 UTC, everyone knows to go to one zone. Like, I don't think the system will work that way, and I hope it doesn't work that way because no one likes those big 300 v100, you know, zone cap fights that are laggy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that might be true, but like, where's the fun in that either? Like, where's the fun in like consistently juggling territories based on what zone people decide to show up to that day? Right, and so I feel like it's going to be too much. Like right now, the way things work for me personally, it's like, okay, so obviously I predominantly GvG, but obviously as a guild and alliance lead, like I have to, okay, so I kind of don't always do this, but I should, right? Like I kind of have to like prioritize war camps, castles, like random ZVZs. But like if you're gonna like make even more mandatory fucking farm-ups, like that's not good for anyone. And sure, it doesn't necessarily have to be mandatory, but you know how it goes. Any competitive alliance is gonna have mandatory farm-ups on these timers every single day, and people are gonna get burned out doing that. Like so, like you get your fame farmers, right? You get your little fame farming shitbags that don't do anything; they just want to hit mobs all day. They're going to have to farm up every single day to defend their zone, and they're going to get butthurt about it. I really feel like these changes are going to hurt the game more in regards to people quitting than you realize. Like, I don't think it's going to make people any more excited for the game because there's already enough ZBZ content there. There's castles, they've added the new outposts, which as far as I can see, have been a great success. There's obviously the war camps in the current iteration. There's the random ZBZs over mages and the defend dungeon zones. Why do we need to add more ZBZ content? Why do we have to remove GvGs the way that they're implemented now, when everyone has equal opportunity to make a GvG team?
Okay, so sure. Everyone does have. I have equal opportunity. Everyone has equal opportunity to make the NBA, right? Everyone has equal opportunity to run for president.
Well, that's not true.
Right, so you could say we have equal opportunity, but over the past 2 years, and maybe even beta, I didn't play then. You've seen that it may be open to everyone, but really, it's not open to everyone because you have to be a super skilled player. You have to have a strong and large time commitment, not only to get your fame up, but to just to practice and scrim. And Lord, you know, Derek, more than anyone else, how much time goes into practicing GvGs and getting a good team. One guy then gets sick. He gets AIDS. His condom broke when he had sex in Amsterdam, and now he can't play anymore because he's sick. So then your team falls apart. Oh, then now we only have 4. We don't have a team anymore. We lose every territory, right? So yeah, you say yes, everyone can participate. Everyone can make a team. But we've seen the numbers play out. Less than 1% of the game is doing this. So why are we tying an end game territory control system in an open world conquest game that less than 1% of the game can dictate? When I heard this game is Albion, everyone matters. Everyone matters. Unfortunately, in the end game open world system, not everyone matters. Really, 5 or 10 people matter.
So let me lay it on another.
Your other point, Derek, your other point was that people are going to burn out because they're going to have to ZBZ too much. Dude, first of all, I think people burn out when they have to be on at a mandatory time. Where it's like I have to be on at 18 UTC, or otherwise, Gluttony's going to kick me and replace me with some Spanish guys and whatever, right? So I think that yes, massing up and having time content is not good, right? I do it as infrequently as possible because it's a video game, not a job. But I also do think that more content, right? More open world content, which is what 99% of this game participates in, is not a bad thing. Constant fighting and constant PvP action is what most people would love in this game.
But do you not think that there's more guilds out there that have somewhat competent GvG teams than there is, say, guilds out there that are actually competitive in ZBZ? What guilds would you say are competitive ZBZ guilds? Okay, so we've got Awful Company, we've got Take Care, we have Blue Army, we have AW Gaming, Made in Brazil, Scoia'tael, Hammer and Sickle. Can't think of another one.
Dude, I think there are probably 200 guilds that could bring 20 competent players to a ZBZ. Not every ZBZ is 300 versus 300. So maybe your view is skewed because you're an oops, right? And so most of the big ZBZs you do for a castle are going to be those 200 v 200, 250 versus 250 zone cap fights. But for the majority of the game, open world fights, 20 v 20, 15 v 15.
All right, we got to get to the next things in the show. So in 30 seconds or less, Gluttony, what's your opinion on these fucking changes?
First of all, I don't know. Didn't realize we're on a time constraint here, but I think these changes.
I need to leave for a sec. I'm going to see GvG. I'll come back if it's still going.
Good talking to you, Derek. By the way, I think that these changes will give everyone a chance to have a direct impact for their guild to claim a piece of the black zone. So, and one thing that we haven't talked about are the hideouts, right? So territories are changing drastically. Most people just see, territory is now open world, blah, blah, the game's ruined. But territories actually are drastically changing how they work fundamentally, right? So territories in the black zone won't have a tower that shoots lasers anymore. And they won't have a bank. They're just essentially like a tower that generates some points, right? Hideouts, which I think people just gloss over, are one of the biggest changes coming in because a hideout will allow a group of any size, to place what's like essentially a piece of furniture that is a portal into an underground hideout, or I guess they're essentially going to be like city plots.
Yeah, it's
So-
going to
Yeah.
be a tiny town plot. That's
Right,
gonna
so
be
this
super
change will
interesting.
be great because for most people, what gets them hooked on this game is the experience of playing in the Black Zone, that cutthroat area where you can kill or be killed, full loot, kill anyone you see. People are hunting for you, right? That's that experience that separates and makes this game unique from others. And I think this hideout with an open world system for territory control, where territories are a little easier to take and can easier to be lost and can switch hands, allowing more groups to get out in the Black Zone. That's good for the game because once you get into the Black Zone, that's what's going to get you hooked in this game.
Well, I
And
think
people being hooked on this game is player retention. Player retention is more people playing the game, and it's just this cycle that improves the popularity of Albion.
that was a long 30 seconds, but that's no, I agree.
But it was a good roundup, to be honest.
No,
You know what? Yeah,
I think it's important what Gluttony's saying, that the changes that SBI is making is to make more content more accessible for more people, right? We do have to get to the Reddit roundup. Are you ready for that, Overdose?
We can cut that out today if we want to, because we're
Okay.
really, really late already.
That's fine. So, what are your thoughts on what's going on with Torther saying he's going to quit Gluttony over these changes?
Well, I mean, a few people have said they're going to quit, and it's I've seen maybe 10, 15, 20 people say they're going to quit. And anytime, like I said earlier, anytime there's a change in a game to something that someone doesn't like, their first thing, a lot of people
Can you
with
please
I think
go
it's
in the
immature
other room,
attitude
bud?
says,
Now?
"I quit.
Hey!
I'm quitting.
Go in the other room.
Fuck this
I'm
game.
on live.
This game's ruined." With that, they probably
No,
haven't even
no.
read all the changes. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. Is I'm quitting. I think it's quite immature. To each their own. Everyone can act how they want. Do I think they'll quit? No. He first of all, he said his entire alliance is quitting. Why? Because Torther himself doesn't like the change. So you're going to expect, I don't know what they're down to now. 2,000 people are going to all fall into a game that's not coming out for 3 years that also doesn't have GvGs for territory control in it. So it just seemed like a short-sighted knee-jerk reaction. Like I said, I hope no one quits the game because the more players, the better. But I also don't think that, A, many people quit, and B, the ones who do, if it's 50 people that quit to help improve a game and a system that will make Albion more enjoyable for years to come, I don't want to say it's worth it, but it's worth it.
Well, it's the same kind of shit they did in Eve when they switched from POS-Sov to Dominion-Sov to Aegis-Sov. So it's going to be an evolution, I'm sure.
Right. Do you want to move? Someone's saying Daba, which is LeBron James, he wants to give an open world live report from the battlefield. Might be kind of cool. I mean, it sounds like he's pinned down or maybe hold down in a bunker, probably in Hoagie somewhere. If you want to bring him in here.
Yeah, last time he went live on a stream, he dropped a bunch of N-bombs, so I'm good.
Did he? Yeah, he's a fan. And I don't. He's a fan of the N-word, and I don't get down with that. So maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I'll that's not, no.
So it's a shame Derek left because I also wanted to talk about the Crystal League season.
Well, I've got
which is
that pulled
another-
up. I've got that pulled up on the screen. So we have the
Wait,
main
is this
goals.
you? I have your stream up now. Is this you in the suit with the chain?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
him.
Nice, man.
He's only one chain short of 2 chains.
Is that a Figaro chain? I've heard rappers talk about Figaro chains. I think that's what
No,
that
it's
is. Right?
Italian silver.
Okay, nice.
Anyways, so we got the.
Drinking out of a jar. Hell yeah! You look like you were in the movie Hackers from like 1996,
Thanks.
mixed with it's like if Hackers did a remake with Goodfellas. That's what you look like. So yeah,
Crystal.
the Crystal League season. I'm in fucking Umbros right now, so don't worry about it. The Crystal League season. I think the biggest confusing thing to me is people say, "Oh, GvGs are gone from the game, right? GvGs are gone. No more 5v5." But GvGs aren't gone from the game. They're actually being expanded upon greatly. Like there's finally a system coming to this game where you truly will know who the best teams in the game are, with leaderboards, right? With high-end matches. Now, I do think there are some flaws in this league system because I think that if you want to do 5v5 content in Albion, you should have as much of that available to you as possible. And I see that some of the high-end matches and teams in this would maybe play once a day or once a week or even once a month or something weird like that.
They can just use lower tier tokens if they want to, because
But
that's the charm of it. Like you can just buy and sell the tier 4 tokens and do as tier 1 to tier 4 tokens and just do as much GvGs as you want. the whole fucking day. It's pretty much just like if they're pretty much mixing the system of hardcore expeditions with the system of the crystal GvGs, which is kind of brilliant at that point, to be honest.
I do like the whole idea of the system, but I think, you know, and it's a shame Derrick left because he would be on the one of the higher end
He'll
teams.
be back. He'll be back.
Right.
He's literally Crystal League GvG right now.
But I think that, you know, if you're a higher end team, you don't want to go fight Awful Company's GvG team because you don't really need claws and a fucking flat 4 ironclad staff. You want to fight other players because presumably, if you enjoy a GvG, you enjoy the competitive aspect of it. So you don't want to go do a 150 0 stomp, even if you get, 10,000 energy. So I think that one thing they should ensure is that, sure, it's great for you to be able to do lots of GvG content, but make sure that if you are doing the higher end content, that there's some sort of ability for you to match make against the better teams so that you can have, these high end matches. I want to see a Sorab versus Derrick. I want to see a Cardera versus Misty or June. So I think people like watching that stuff. So I think that the high end matches should be made more available. And I think there's plenty of time to tweak the league. And I think if you are one of the high end GvGers, you should put your input on how to improve that league because that's where the competitive 5v5 will be, right? And there's going to be much more of it. And this is your time to like create a 5v5 system, that will suit your needs. I think Albion is still unique in that it's the only game that ties, has like MMO grind and full loot, but also that competitive 5v5 thing. I think I and many others are just happy that this 5v5 system is not going to control the open world anymore.
Well, it'd be like EVE tournaments deciding who owns Nullsec and EVE.
Yeah, I am a goon. I never played EVE though. It just seemed very weird. Someone was like, "Oh, well, you just make a spreadsheet and then you click execute and your spreadsheet runs." I was like, "That's not a video game." Like, what the? I might have been wrong.
It's not too far off from the truth. Anyways, so what do you think it's gonna do to Season 8 when these changes come out?
In terms of, well, I mean, it's gonna certainly change the way a lot of alliances are structured.
What's your prediction on who's going to come out on top, I guess is what I'm asking.
Who's going to come out on top? Probably Squad or, I mean, what do you mean by top? Like control the best areas?
Control the best areas, points, etc.
So I don't really care about season points to me. Like the artificial ranking, like.
What about the rest then?
I care about, like, are you having a good time in game? Do you have places to play? Like, are you winning fights? Are you having fun fights? So season points to me, I mean, the only thing I care about with season points is getting that mount at the end of the season because that you can sell it and get more money. But who do I think would come out on top? I still think it'll be Oops and Squad battling for the top spots. The two probably, strongest alliances in terms of open world. And I think Arch is up there, but Arch is a little different from the other alliances. So
why don't you kind of talk about that? I mean, everybody says Afghanistan, everybody says a lot about you guys, but we don't hear a lot publicly about you guys.
Sum it up with just a few words. Arch is a noob clan.
I don't know about being noob. Shit, I went there and got like gang rape like 100 dudes on battle mammoths and fucking ballistas and shit. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Arch is strong open world, but I think that when you see the new season come out, like I said, I think it'll be Oops and Squad still, with maybe Arch as a third. But I also think you'll see a huge shakeup in alliances, right? So a lot of alliances grow to be massive in number because in the current system, it's very hard to get a territory, and you have to be with one of these groups of 5 people that are very strong at 5v5, right? So your options are very limited. Certainly, it's almost impossible, or very rare for you to like, oh, I'm a new guild, I'm gonna go make my own team, and then I'm gonna go out to Thistle Cops and take it. Like that just doesn't happen in the current system. So I think with taking territories being easier and more accessible to take a territory, I think you'll see some of these larger groups split up because why would I be in Arch if I can take my own 500 guys and get a few zones? Why would I be in Squad or Ego or wherever else? So I think, and also a lot of these alliances are dictated by, oh, well, we have a strong GvG team, so you have to be with us to get territories. That model isn't going to work for an alliance anymore. So I think you'll see massive shakeups, in terms of, who are the strongest alliances now versus then. I don't even think you'll see a lot of the same alliances. I think things will change, and they always do in the off season, right? In between seasons, you always see alliances form and alliances break and guilds consolidate and guilds quit and stuff. So like any season, I think that, you know, you'll see change, but I think you'll see more significant change in alliance breakup in this one. So
Sorry, I had to ban some dipshit trying to pretend to be fucking King Mojo.
was it
I
about
told
Andro?
I don't know. I told him to fucking change his name. He didn't do it, so bye.
Guys, check it out. Buy his stream. He's banning Mojo from the stream.
Dropping the T8.3
What?
ban hammer.
Hold on, I thought I was fucking Blue Army online or news or fucking spy or something.
Did you already answer like what happened with you getting hacked and stuff like that? Or
Yeah, I posted the
No,
article.
that was the topic
I
we
know you
wanted to
posted.
get
Did you talk about it on stream yet?
I don't really
No.
have shit to say about it, to be honest.
Okay.
It's
I just know that you were always in CIR and then you left to go to Blue Army.
No, I
and
never went to
then-
Blue Army.
Oh,
The fuck
oh,
would I
yeah,
go to Blue?
shit. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Why the fuck would I go to Blue Army? Jesus Christ.
because Blue Army News 24 sounds.
Oh shit! Sorry. Yes. No, I'm. That was last week though. Sorry, I lost track.
Okay. So this week, where are you going this week to backstab?
I'm gonna backstab myself this week. Thanks.
Oh. Handling yourself, I see. But like actually,
You know, I just want to. People are really clamoring for this guy, LeBron James, to come in here.
No, he's not coming on.
I think people are also clamoring for more information because I certainly am.
Sure,
Because
Jesus
so-
Christ.
you told us shit.
You're just a drama queen, buddy.
I know. I mean,
You don't
I
want to talk
can't
about
shit
being
post
hacked,
on
but you
Reddit anymore,
wanna
so I have to
explain-
get my fixes somewhere.
I
Want to
fucking
explain the falling out between you and the CIR, or
feared he's a cocksucker. I left Crimson. The end.
because you were with them for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Tim were with them for like 2 years.
We came
And
over
now-
from Eve to play with Syndic.
Or who we thought was Syndic at the time.
That's another
But
show.
that's a whole different story.
By the way, I also saw that Syndic is in favor of this new open world system.
I'm sure he is because he doesn't have Cargier anymore.
I don't think
Another
it's
fucking GvG.
Syndic. Actually, to
What?
his credit, Syndic to his credit, a lot of times he would make suggestions, you know, for the betterment of the game that just didn't necessarily always go to his favor. And I've tried to do the same. You know, I think people should just look at what will make Albion the best game possible. What will keep Albion going for 5, 10, 15 years. Games like Eve and UO are around for 10 to 20 years, not because they have great graphics or, you know, or whatever, but because they have good gameplay that appeal to a lot of people. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
think Albion should only be in the same boat. So
The PvP in Ultima Online was revolutionary.
well, just the fact that you kill someone and take all their stuff, I think that's what made that.
Yeah, it was unheard of.
To be honest, Eve had the same fucking graphics for, let's say, 9 to 11 years.
If you're playing
You
Eve for the
always-
graphics, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man.
They got better.
Is Derrick is back?
I think so.
Welcome back.
What's
Did you win your crystal?
Yeah, of course I did.
Who did you
Listen,
fight against?
Yeah, who'd you go against?
Cabell.
Oh,
Okay, have you guys talked about that video with Skuskabel yet with his dad?
what?
Yeah, I asked him about it, and he thought it.
I
was
just
fun.
what I've gathered is like people in Europe are much cooler with nudity, and like in some countries like parents walk around the house naked. Where I think in America, like the only one who did that was Jeffrey Epstein, and they weren't his kids.
So that has to sound dominant.
Holy
How
shit,
else is he
that
gonna do it? That was fucked up. That was fucked.
Also, how does that guy kill himself?
This is how we get banned from Reddit. He also killed himself, by the way, like
It's
yesterday. or
been
today.
sad. Yeah, he killed himself. but,
Anyways.
Like, that's so weird that he killed himself. Like, how that's the Clintons that powerful?
yeah, moving on.
No real life politics.
So,
Guys.
Derek-
No real life
Sorry,
politics.
sorry to get off on a tangent.
Derek-
But yeah, that video is pretty funny where it's like he's streaming and then out of nowhere he's like doing okay. His dad walks in naked, gets something out of the fridge, and then just walks back out naked. And I guess it's just a cultural thing, but in America that would like you go to jail for that.
Like,
You wouldn't go to jail, but you'd be a weirdo. Probably.
as a Euro guy, like, we are relatively chill, but it's also some, like, we don't censor every fucking nipple, but we don't have assault rifles. Like that. That's the difference.
Not to. I think you probably have the better culture in certain things. Although, give me my guns. But have you like? You guys live in Europe, right?
What weapons? We got the better end of the stick.
Rock, what country do you live in?
Germany.
Now,
don't you hear that from my accent?
Like, you could be Austria. Same thing, right? I don't even know. Is Austria still a country? Is Austria still?
Yeah. You still think Austria and Germany are different countries, but this is how we get. No,
that's how you get. So, have you ever seen your parents naked?
In traumatic memories, yes, probably.
Okay. But it's not like a common thing growing up where it's like, oh, there's my mom with her fucking.
Yo, Valto. Can we get Lebron in here? He's actually the VP of Oops, so I would like to hear what he has to say. It's much better than listening to dad dicks.
I'm not. I've been warned by multiple
Derrick, I
people.
think he has a history of using the N word.
Yeah, we're not going there. We're done.
I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. LeBron, you could send me a message, and if it's not N-word appropriate, I would be glad to read it. But yeah, so Derrick, we were talking about the Crystal League thing, and I wanted to get your input on it. My initial take on it is that it's great to provide lots more 5v5 content, but I see some of the top teams complaining, saying, "I'm only going to be able to do one like meaningful match a month or a week." Like, as a top tier GvG, what are your thoughts on the Crystal League, and how would you improve it to be as complete of a system as possible for both low end and high end GvGers?
Yo, can you repeat that? I wasn't listening.
Sure. So what I was saying is, when King Mojo left, like how upset. So what I was saying is, how would you with the GvG Crystal League coming out, right? One of the complaints I've seen is that top end teams may not get enough fights versus other top end teams as frequently as they like. Is that something that you've also seen from the system? And if so, how would you change it so that both top end and low end teams can have as much content as possible?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like, essentially that's the way the game is now anyway, right? Like,
how many GvGs are in Mercia today, right? 0 probably, so
we did a level 7 tower like 4 days in a row. We actually played against Scuzz 4 days in a row, I think. Or actually, it might have been 4 out of 5 days. I think we did Scuzz twice, June once, and then Scuzz 2 more times. It's like you said, there's not that many top tier teams. But it does kind of make it even worse when you actually have to like fight through like the slog of absolute shadows beforehand also. I don't really know. I don't have any suggestions how to make that better. I'm sure there's a lot of ways. I haven't really thought about it personally.
Do you think it would be cool, let's say it came down to like a Super Bowl Sunday thing where it's like, all right, best of 3 for the best team in Albion this season. Derrick's team versus June's team. Is that something that you think that would be cool?
I don't know, man. The thing is,
do you think your palms would get sweaty if it was like Game 3 of the Season 8 championship?
I mean, you have to understand it's an MMO, and if people can only play the game twice a month, they're just gonna quit. You know, like there needs to be consistent daily content worth logging in for.
I agree. That's what I was saying while you're gone. I think there needs to be, whether you enjoy open world or whether you enjoy competitive 5v5 in a full loot system, I think there needs to be as much accessible content as possible. I think you should be able to log on and do 10 or 15 5v5s a day versus other 5v5 teams. And I think you should be able to log on, and if you enjoy the open world, and get as many open world fights as possible. And I truly think that this new system can and will provide that content for both parties. Even if one is, 1 to 5% of the game, the other is not. Oh man, you made a mistake looking on your stream, buddy. You may want to close your stream. I saw a big black banana.
We fixed that.
Dude, I wish sometimes watching porn can be very depressing when you realize like, oh, I'll never provide pleasure.
No, this is how we get banned from Twitch. Keep on topic.
Yeah,
the thing that's really good about SPI in that regard is that they don't shy away from making mistakes. So because they have like a fresh start every 3 months with each new season, they can implement new mechanics and everything. So I think even if the system doesn't work at first like they want it to, in the end they'll probably come up with a solution, and even if it's like a player suggestion.
Or then I think,
Or just roll it back.
that's what you've seen with territory control. I mean, they had a system in place for 2 years, and I think after 2 years they realized, all right, this is not working to make our game the best game possible. At the same time, we don't want to alienate, the 1 to 5% of the people who are playing Albion for the competitive 5v5.
Yeah.
So let's also implement a system that gives them content. And I think that's what you want. No one wants to log on a game and run around circles in Carleon, right? So if you remember back even before Random Dungeons, like a lot of times you'd log on and there'd be nothing for you to do. You could go solo gather. You could maybe kill a wandering mob when those came out, and that sucked. Or you could spend 25 to 30 minutes trying to get it.
I despise these fucking things. They make my life so much harder.
I mean, I think they're a good addition to the game, or you could wait 35 minutes to try to form a group, right? So there's a lot of like logging on, nothing to do. I'm just gonna run around in Carleon and chat. I mean, and so Random Dungeons came out. Okay, you're not gonna go do that now. Solo Dungeons came out, and I can do that. So I think continually making it so that when you log on to this game, there is accessible content for whatever you enjoy, almost readily available. That's how you will improve this game, right? And I think this new season changes are going to do that. I truly do. So,
yeah. It will help a lot, and it also like it pretty much turns the whole thing on its head, because it used to be the case that 99% were pretty much just funneling their resources into that 1% of the guild that was holding the territories, etc. And now it's pretty much just the case that the 5% that the 1 to 5% of the guild are pretty much just there to make additional points that pretty much give something back to the whole group.
Sure.
So it's pretty much like it could turn like it's not 99% working for one, but 1% working for the 99.
Or just 100% working for 100%, right?
Yeah.
Now everyone truly will matter.
It's a give and take at that point.
I've even seen some gatherers and crafters say, well, I was crafting for my GvG team, like, well, first of all, they're probably running like a slave funnel system, but that's besides the point. But crafting and gathering will be more important in the new system now. When wars are fought with only 5 people, you're only having to worry about gearing up 5 people and crafting 5, soldiers. Now these gatherers and crafters are gonna have, if that's what they're into, they're gonna play a part in gearing up their entire army.
To be honest, they also had you also had to replace like a lot of guilds had gear replacement programs. At least the ones I know of for their people.
And I'm just going on some of the bizarre complaints of why people these 20 or 30 people have said they're quitting, and one of them was like, crafting will not be important anymore. Well, I think
holy shit, like if you have twice the number of ZVZ, like crafting will be even more important.
Yeah,
like
you're
resource
truly
prices
worried
will
about
spike. Everybody will profit in the end.
Yes, I agree, and I maybe Bogle, if he were here, could speak better. I think the economy could certainly be improved greatly in this game, and crafting is one area of that.
I was pretty happy when there were not the new Outlands yet, because the resources, like especially tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, tier 7, tier 8, like the ones that you mainly gather, like everything above blue zone shit, pretty much, like just skyrocketed from like 200 for tier 5 resources to like 700 a piece, because the demand from the free-to-play release was so high. And there were just not enough resources that you could gather to pretty much fill the demand. So if you have more resources taken out of the game by gear being destroyed, the prices will rise again, and gatherers will be more likely to gather. That pretty much makes also more content for gankers and everything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I see Jonah Vale said something in your streams, and I like Jonah Vale. I played Darkfall with them, and he and I have known each other for some years now, and his stream is cool. He's an interesting guy, and he said this system will only benefit Zergers, right? And so that's a common complaint. I think it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, saying, if you don't have a Zerg, you can't do anything. So I saw a video that Jonah Vale posted of his guild. I think they're called Sewer Rats on reset day, and it showed them actually, I think, winning a fight versus an arch guild, Hungry Vultures. And it was like a 20v30 kind of fight for a territory. Mm-hmm. So
those are the best fights, actually.
And I am confident that in this system, right, when there are that many territories available and territories are constantly being fought over, there will be many, 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 many fights like that for territories where a guild who can get 20 guys can go out and fight another guild who has 30 guys for a territory. Now, sure, you may not be getting a territory in the center of the map, right, in the best spot in the game, and you may be, you know, more in the mid to the outer areas, but those fights will 100% occur for territory control. If they're already occurring now on reset day, just think when you know it's not just one day where this is happening, it's a continual thing. Those fights are bound to happen. So I disagree where he's saying, oh, is this going to be 300 v 100, you know, zone cap fights? That's not what it's going to be. Sure, there will be some of those, but they will not be the majority of the fights, as they are not the majority of the fights now.
I think the first week or the first 2 weeks will be just like reset day every day, pretty much. That's how it's gonna look like. I'm pretty sure.
I think maybe once you get more established areas where people are actually playing, okay, it's like Oops is playing in this area, and then this alliance is playing in that area, and this alliance is playing in that area, then okay, it's like things maybe settle down a little bit more, and then it's like, all right, I want to go to war with Oops. We're going to start pushing into these territories and having wars in these zones every day to be constant fighting there, right? And so maybe they would be
like border skirmishes all over
the outside areas. Maybe the guild like Sewer Rats, who's saying, all right, we're going to go fight, I don't know, Killer Instinct here, and we're going to have these 30v30s. That's our war. It's a smaller war because it's less people, but we're still having a war over zones in the open world, right? And it's not huge zone cap fights. Also, shout out to Fly Blue, the big head from Jopaso.
All right, so we got Derrick back. I wanted to kind of go over some things with Derrick. You anything else you wanna go over?
No, I've got to get out of here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your stream, Derrick. It's always good talking to you. Like I said, with Bogle and Chozen, they put on a good content stream. I like that you guys do it too. I like the fact that you're on your leisure suit on your stream, put yourself out there. So this is a good show, and you know, thanks for letting me come on here and talk.
Absolutely, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yep, there's the stream.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. See ya.
Cheers.
All right, honey, put your clothes on. Yep. Oh, wait, I'm still here? My bad. Just kidding. All right, see you guys.
No Europeans, please.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
All right. So
that happened.
Something with Derrick. Go ahead.
Derrick, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
So we were kind of going over some stuff that had gone on, and we went over the season 8 changes. So Gluttony kind of got to, you know, say his piece. What
the majority of the talking got done by him. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about the season 8 changes and the leaks that came out? I don't know if you have a copy of them, but they're up on the stream.
It's a load of shit, you know. That's what it is. Like, I never really read like NDA notes or any of that stuff because I always expect it to be significantly changed by the time it hits live. It's the same with balance changes, you know. Like, I don't know. I don't think that system's going to be implemented, and I think if it is, then it's going to do more harm for the game than good. Like, people don't know what they want. Like, people ask for these things, then it isn't fun for anyone, and that's the way I would see that playing out. Like, I understand why someone like Gluttony would be hyped for it, but I don't think it'll play out the way that he wants it to either. Like, all the maps are too close together for that to be a thing. Sure, it might be different on the new map, I don't know. But
you're not quitting, right?
You're not pulling a torso on us, right?
I'm probably going to be playing a little bit less moving forward anyway, but I don't have any plans to quit the game.
So, I mean, obviously this first version will probably take a while to shake out. I mean, that's how it is in any game that makes changes like this. What do you think it's going to look like as they get it figured the fuck out in Season 9 and Season 10?
I mean, I don't think it's going to look much different to what it looks like now. Like I said before, like if they implement the Crystal League thing, I think the Crystal League will be side by side with the current system of GvGs. I think if they make Zerg control relevant to territory control, like I think if they make Zergs relevant to holding territories, then it's going to be like the Zerg starts the attack and then the 5v5 happens. You know, essentially it's going to be like war camps, except it's going to be every territory as its own war camp. You know, the way it is. Like, I just don't see them removing 5v5 from territory control after all this time. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's sure making big shake-ups could be good, but I don't think it's necessary. And I don't think the problem is really there. I think the problem is something that is just... I don't know.
In-
No matter
Well,
what. No matter what the system is, the community is going to complain. Like people, like you get these like small time streamers, like someone like Nazari, as an example. He says on Reddit that he's been training for GvGs for 8 months. He can't win. He can't hold territories. It's not fair. Every time I watch this motherfucker stream, he's fucking playing a troll build and 2v2 Hellgates, running around with a blood leather and a fucking knight armor. That ain't training for GvGs, but that's not trying to get better. And then when I watch his GvGs, it's always with a different team. It's always with different people. Half the people there have no idea what they're doing. This is not a good representative for someone that knows what they're doing. You know, like people like this that are literally just very low skilled gamers complaining about the GvG system because they can't win against the top teams is beyond ridiculous. And I think I
now
would like to think you guys agree with that. That's like,
I kind of got to play devil's advocate, right? Because you kind of have 80% of the non-shit GVGers in your alliance, right?
no,
No?
not even close. If that was the case, I would say that's the case. Like, for me, the way it is now is essentially like because that I'm a GVG myself, and I push my GVGs to fucking play GVGs. Like if I can get a GVG to come and play with me, I will. But I'm not the type of person that like slides into people's DMs, promises them the world, and has them come to me, and then we never play. It's
You're not
like
insinuating somebody in particular, are you?
not necessarily, but if you look if you look at the guild like 1PG, alright, 1PG has the capability of making at least 4 GvG teams minimum. Minimum. You know, 4 or 5 is probably about what 1PG could do. They have more GvGs than Money Guild do, but they do significantly less GvGs than Money Guild, and that's not because they don't have the players there. That's because they're not as competitive. You know, they don't have the competitive drive. The leadership doesn't care as much. People need to shake things up a bit. You know, those players like MSSJ. You know, he's played for a very long time. You know, he wasn't considered to be like a good player by any means. You know, like a lot of people would still talk shit about MSSJ, but he went out and he did his own thing. He made his own team, his own guild. You know, he was part of the Bridgelog project, and you know, whether I agree with what he did or not, he left that. He did his own thing, and he essentially took over. You know, like a continent. Took over an entire continent with one team. You know, there was a couple of subs, and sure, I understand that's what they're trying to get away from. But this team was mostly made up of people that had spent most of their time on Anglia, playing with other players that hadn't really achieved a whole lot. People like Last Mohican, you know, like he's not a great player, but he's still around. He's still trying. He's still GVGs every day. Most GVGs give up after one loss. You know, you need to give respect to these guys that keep going, and they're not in my guild. Well, MSSJ is, but you know, like it's just people don't try. People don't try and then they complain. It'll be the same with a ZBZ system. It's significantly easier to get 5 guys together to do Hellgates and GVG than it is to be a competitive fucking ZBZ guild. You know, you need competent shot callers with good availability. You need to get all of your players online at the same time. You know, like it's people don't know what they're asking for.
I think it's lower. It's less forcible, less forcing on people in that regard, because it doesn't matter like if you have 17 one day, 22 the other day, and if you're like 10 minutes late, that's probably still fine. But
No,
in case
I'm,
of ZVZs, GVGs, that's a whole different thing. Like you need those 5 people online at a set time period.
I mean that's true, but I mean, like,
People
you
are
don't.
not disciplined sometimes.
You
Like
don't.
the majority of people isn't. That's why there are so few GVGs.
You
Because
don't need to use
most
the
will
same
just not
five
make
people
time.
every time. You don't need to use the same 5 people every time. For a very long time, Money Guild had no set team. We had a pool of players that we would pull from based on availability, and then those 5 players would do the GVG. And there's nothing stopping other guilds from doing that, implementing a system like that. But other guilds and other quote unquote teams like to make excuses, and unfortunately, that's the state of the game. Just a shitload of excuses from people that shouldn't really be making excuses. They should just be trying. And if you can't try and you can't do it, then don't. Just shut up, stop trying, and fucking move on. Like if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. You know, like people say they train 8 months to GvG and they can't win against top teams. Well, fucking stop. You know, not everyone can be the best.
So we got a question, and I'm pretty sure it's a troll question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. We
Ask it.
have we
No,
have
that,
Pablo. Fuck, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that shit. Ask why he comes in the Clan AW Discord and asks them to come back into Oops Alliance.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. Is that English?
I thought it was English. At least I heard some words that sounded like.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Okay, so let me address that real quick. Why do I come into AW Gaming's Discord and ask them to come back to Oops? Well, first of all, I can't join the Discord without being invited. So let's get the truth out there. AW Gaming invited me to the Discord and begged me to come back.
Okay, so you're in their Discord, and I guess I don't have any fucking clue about what this is
Like I
about.
said, I'm not in the Discord now because I wouldn't waste my time in a Discord full of fucking retards. I joined, they begged me to come back. I allowed them to come back that one time because it was a favour to Ellipsis, you know. Him and Mark, 2K, have been friends for a long time. And then they fucked up the last chance, and now they're in squad. It is what it is. I don't have any hard feelings towards AW, I just don't have any respect for them either.
For the people that are asking what alliance I'm in Brave Newbie. We have Brave Vanguard. It's a newbie alliance that we started to help newbies. Sorry about
And
people
you
asking.
got out again.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to get a better mic for next week. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, after we left Crimson, we just created that because it was a long time wish of ours.
Yeah, and hopefully it's a lot less bullshit and drama.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing Win has a lot of.
Definitely. But we still don't have any information about that from you, and I still really want to get some.
Well, Derrick's the guest of the hour. I don't want to take Derrick's time by talking about some irrelevant.
I think Gluttony already did that, and that ship has sailed.
I don't know, Derrick. You got anything else you want to cover before we kind of get into wrapping things up?
You know, not really. Like, for me,
Alright.
it's just like the way the game is the way the game is, and I'm gonna play it however it is and do the best that I can. You know, and I think everyone else should do the same. I understand giving feedback, saying that you don't think certain systems are right or whatever. That's fine. That's good. Like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to feel the way that they feel. But I don't think that just because you failed at something, a system should necessarily be changed. You know, and unfortunately, that's kind of the way things are heading. And it's after years of nerfing GvGs over and over, or at least nerfing the top end rewards for GvGing. You know, which would essentially be Mercia, right? They nerfed it time and time again to the extent where sitting in Anglia is almost as lucrative.
Why don't you kind of explain what you mean by that for people who aren't familiar with territory mechanics and GVGs?
So obviously every territory in Mercia on the map except the Royal Zones always had tier 8 resources spawning inside, and now it no longer has that. The mage system used to be better. You used to get more energy coming in. You used to get significantly more tier 8 coming in, and you could wait till it enchanted because it was on your territory. You could watch it, you could defend it. But now most tier 8 spawns in the open world and people are taking it flat, so there's less and less enchanted tier 8 in the game, which has essentially made a system where the most GvG gear is enchanted tier 6, which you I don't want to get into the crafting system, but essentially they hard nerf GvGs, and now they want to make them even less relevant. I just don't think that's the right way to go. If they didn't want GvGs to be such a prominent part of the game, they never should have been in the first place, or they should have been removed a significant length of time ago. I think the main issue with well, I suppose it's not an announcement, but it's a leak of like when they consolidated the GvG timers to all be at the same time, which makes you need 3, 4, maybe 5 teams at the same timer, and then a week later everyone finds out that GvGs are going to be irrelevant 2 months from now. That's created a system where you needed to motivate more people to GvG, you needed to get more people together than ever, and now everyone's demotivated because all of that time and effort's gonna be a waste of time. Like, I mean, that's classic SBI, right? Like, it just, I don't know, man. I'm just shaking my head at that shit.
Oh, we've had some issues at SBI as well. I get it. They suck at communication and a bunch of other stuff, but it is what it is.
I mean, another thing to touch on in regards to nerfing GVGs, it's like anyone that's successful, it just gets nerfed or just is put in a position where they just get hard fucked. But funnily enough, Blue Army winning 3 seasons when all they have is ZBZ presence doesn't tell the story, does it? Like, GVGs aren't relevant enough. There's no point making them even less relevant. You need to buff it, not nerf it.
The thing is, they have to be pretty much made more relevant, but also more accessible, and that's a really, really, really tough
But
thing to do.
But they don't need to be made more accessible. GVGs are
At least
so
from the bottom.
accessible.
At least from a bottom end, like there needs to be, like,
If you're bottom end, you should be scrimming. You don't need to be doing GVGs. That's your 5v5 content, would be scrimming and hellgaining. You can scrim and it costs you literally nothing. There's no cost other than your food and potions.
I gotta disagree with that. There's literally not an open world sandbox game that doesn't allow some entry into sovereignty or territory or something at a low level without being, at the top end of things, right?
No, but it is there. It's right there, right? Like the Royal Zones are there, they're IP capped. You want a GVG, you can go to the Royals. Look at Anglia, Glovia. These maps are massive. Don't tell me that there's no entry point there. Diplomacy is supposed to be a thing too, right? You're supposed to be diplomatic. Politics are supposed to be a fucking thing in this game. It's not all about you and your level 5 wankers. It's about actually making shit happen. If you're incapable of making shit happen, you're the problem, not the fucking game systems, right? If I was not running Money Guild right now and I wanted to GVG, right, I would tailgate until I found people that I wanted to play with. If I had no entry point, I would message some leadership in a guild or alliance that has the capability of finding that entry point for you. I would make a deal with them that's mutually beneficial, and I would GVG for them, either in their alliance or in their guild. I guess you can't really do that in their alliance anymore. I would join their guild, and we would GVG from there, and we would start from the bottom and see how it goes. Right? Don't tell me there's no guilds out there that would accept a up-and-coming GVG team and give them GVG launches. It's not true. The problem is that everyone wants to start at the top. It's not that there's no barrier. It's not that there's no entry points. It's that they want to begin at the fucking top.
No, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't like fucking the 5v5 gameplay. They like open world fucking actual content where dying actually matters and the shit actually matters.
well, 5v5 matters too.
No, hold on.
Is that relevant to what we're talking about?
Well, no, it's every other sov system in the open world sandbox fucking games isn't this isolated little fucking bubble of shit where you have 5 guys doing a tournament that decides the fate of an open world, right?
Right. Okay.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, right? I'm just
If you open the map, if you open up the map, if you're in game, open up the map. Look at Taproot Glen as an example. All right, Taproot Glen. It's in the northwest of Mercia. Conflict owned that. Conflict sent to that GVG 2 healers and 4-2 gear, 1 guy with claws, and 2 random DPS. I sent a real team with 8-2 gear on their way there, whilst getting escorted by the Guild and Alliance, by the way. One of my GVGers died. It was the healer. He died on the way there. What happened? He died in the open world because Squad made the effort to kill him in the open world on his way to the GVG. Now tell me how that is not open world having an impact on GVGs.
But that's so rare. Like, that's a 1 in 100 incident.
But it's not rare.
You're right. If
common.
more people would make an effort. But
It happens to Money Guild every fucking GVG. You get people trying to block us. And that's been the case for 18 plus months.
oh,
Okay, so essentially at the low end of the game, the GVGs are very accessible and there's not a whole lot of open world interference because people don't give a fuck to block you. When your guild knows they're probably going to lose the GVG because you have some of the best players in the game knocking at your fucking door, they show up, they try and blockade you. And that's happened to us time and time again. And for me, that's enough of an influence to say that everyone matters.
Fair enough. I was just playing devil's advocate there, my friend.
And I understand that not everyone likes the 5v5 content, but no one's forcing them to do it either.
if you want Terry's,
like you
you
said,
need somebody to do it.
Yeah, you need someone to do it. You don't have to do it yourself. Don't like it, don't fucking do it. Find someone that does do it. Like I just said, the thing that I just said in regards to being a GvG
Yeah,
team that
it's
wants to find
also
a guild,
able to turn it on the head. Like,
it applies both ways, right? If you're a ZBZ guild and you want territories, how do you achieve that? Let's think about this for a second. You find some fucking GvGers and you send them into the GvG. It's just like if you want something crafted and you don't have the spec, what do? You find someone that's already crafted it.
or you
And
buy it
either-
on the market.
Yeah, you find a crafter or you buy the item. So what's the difference here? It's supposed to be a sandbox
Very
game.
similar, but some people just don't have the angle to see it.
Yeah, no one can see it because everyone's blinded by the fact that they fucking suck. And no one ever wants to admit that they suck. They want to say, "Oh, the systems hold me back. It's not fair. I'm not bad. The game's bad, but I'm gonna be playing 18 hours a day."
In 2v2 Hellgates.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my face with that shit, honestly.
Oh, you're fucking killing me, man.
The game isn't perfect. The game could do with a lot of changes. But if you suck at GvGs, it's because you're terrible. It's because you suck. It's not because the game's bad. It's not because there's no one holding your hand. Go and fucking scrim, you fucking idiots.
So is that your official opinion on the changes that stop fucking sucking?
Essentially.
Got it.
And also, there's another thing too, right? So it's like when you're waiting at the tower, like how many people have actually probably lost GvGs to something as ridiculous as one player running up to the tower with a longbow and casting longbow on the tower and killing the GvGers and making them lose their sets before the GvG that way. I mean, that's very similar to like getting ganked and blockaded on the way there, but that's one person making a difference.
That's a thing.
That's the thing.
Oh god.
Like, you can blockade the whole guild and alliance, or you can be a ganker that specifically moves and camps territories around GvG timers. There's so many different ways to prevent GvGs from happening, because like you said before, getting those 5 guys together at the same time is a difficult task. And obviously, the answer to not losing stuff and not getting ganked in the way there is to move early, very early, and make sure all 5 guys have done the same. But that isn't a reality either, because everyone's very unreliable. Or if one guy doesn't show up and you need to sub him out, you have guys running out last second with sets. There's so many ways to prevent a GvG from happening the way it's supposed to happen. And there's so many issues that can come up, because you even said it yourself that ZVZs, if you have 5 guys missing from your usual group, you still have the rest of your team there, you still have the rest of the guys. So, but every person that's missing is 20% of a team in a GvG.
So Team would like to come in because obviously a couple shows ago we had a I don't know what the fuck that was, but we had Team come on and say you were stepping down. Do you want to bring Team on and clarify that?
I mean, if you want to waste your time and bring in that chuckle fuck, then be my guest.
No, we're good.
You should have got LeBron in here. That's a man that matters.
I can't, man. Sorry.
This is how we will get banned from Twitch.
Yeah, we've already got him
Always
spamming
talking about
penis
that.
pictures on fucking Discord and shit, and I've had to ban him. So no, I'm good. Real quick, is there anything else before we do the? No, I'm not scared of LeBron. I don't want him dropping the N-bombs live on fucking stream.
You're just scared of Twitch dropping the ban hammer.
Yeah, I'm so shaky. I'm about to fall the fuck asleep. No, is there anything else you want to do before we go to the real quick Reddit roundup? Because there was a shit ton of Reddit drama this week.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I am curious specifically. What do you think? Because obviously you've been fighting Derrick. You've been fighting June quite a bit. What's your opinion on June? As players.
I like June. I don't think they're the best players, but they've made what they have, and they've taken it and they've worked at it. And you know, they're not the most serious guys. You know, they clown around a lot. They have a lot of fun with the game. They're good guys, I think. Like, if you take things too personally, like, you probably get wound up by them, you get annoyed by them. But I think ultimately they're good dudes and they're good players. And if anyone's interested in a good guild, then I would definitely recommend June. It would be a fun place to play.
I think they're having a blast.
They have taken a lot of wins from us. I mean, they're experienced players. They're veteran players. Don't get me wrong, but they recently come back. You know, maybe 1 or 2 months now, maybe even a little bit longer. I'm not sure. And they've taken wins from Money Guild A team. You know, a lot of wins even. You know, it was coming up on like 10 defeats at the hands of June. And you can definitely say that that's a lot of that's on us, like not adapting to their composition and being too set in our ways. But like, you can make those kind of excuses any day of the week on anything. Those guys kicked our ass. They did really well, and there's nothing stopping the rest of the server stepping up and doing the same. And
Cool.
that's kind of my point, right? Like, the only thing stopping you from being successful is yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, they were funded quite a bit originally by Crimson when they came back, so.
Yeah, but in this game you don't need funding. All right, you go and do some Hellgates. All right, do some Hellgates. If you're good, if you're genuinely good, if you're at a level where you deserve to be funded, then you could essentially fund yourself by running Hellgates, and then your first few sets or whatever are going to multiply because you're going to be winning, and you're going to be looting the enemies. You literally only need to get funding for 1 GvG, and if you're significantly better than your enemies, then you're set for the month.
So just real quick for new players, a lot of new players come in. They hear the King Derrick, etc., etc., etc. You know, in a few words, what kind of advice would you give to a new player that wants to get into doing GVGs? You know, I mean, obviously you know about our newbie alliance. You know, there's a group in there that form and they want to get into GVGs. What advice would you give them besides getting famed up?
I mean, if you want to get into GvGs, I mean, essentially, like, I suppose GvGing is like any other team game where, like, contacts are really important. You want to meet people, you want to find people. Anytime you enjoy playing with someone, you don't necessarily need to add them to a friends list or whatever, but keep them in mind and try and play with them as much as possible. Like, those are the people that
Dude,
are worth playing with. Like, you don't want to join a guild and be like, hey, I'm looking to start a GvG team, PM me if you're interested, because it doesn't really work like that. The best way to do it is by you play the game with your own experiences, you find who you want to play with. And it's going to work out much better like that. Like, I played through betas, and I played obviously
go!
in release, and I met a
Just
lot
give
of
me
people.
5 minutes, dude.
And,
Okay,
you know, like,
almost done.
I'm me. Like, I'm a bit of an aggressive person. Like, I'm not a people person. I don't get on with that many people. But, like, throughout all my interactions, I found people that I enjoyed playing with, and I found like we're good enough to actually GvG with. And if I lose like my team today, I'll have another team tomorrow. Might not be as good, you know, but I'll have someone, and we can work on it from there. Like, it's not that hard. You're never gonna start being the best, and if you want to play, then just play. I mean,
Go!
losing
What the
is
fuck is wrong with people in chat? That was my son that walked by. What a bunch of fucking really perverted fucks.
like losing is like part of the battle. You know, you can't improve without losing.
All right, we're about to wrap up. Real quick, Overdose, you want to go over the Reddit roundup in 5 minutes or less?
Oh yeah. We can start.
If you don't mind, Derek, just quick 5 minutes, and we'll wrap up.
Sure. I mean, I have a GvG in 5 minutes anyway.
Oh, then let him have the 5 minutes, and then we'll do the Reddit.
Yeah, you know what? We'll just hit the Reddit next week. Is there anything else you want to kind of go over? I know you're kind of helping a little bit, giving some advice, that type of stuff to the newbies with the newbie alliance. Is that correct?
Okay, so you don't really want me to talk about what I want to talk about. What you're looking for me to do is to plug your new alliance/guild. So I
No,
guess we can do that.
No,
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 no.
no, no. That's not what I was trying to do at all.
We could do that ourselves. Don't worry. But like if we had some people that were like, yeah, we want a GvG, where would we send them to start? Pretty much. Should we just point them at Hellgate?
Yeah, there's a lot of new people that will be watching this because this is on other channels as well that
I mean,
will be
it's like I
syndicated.
said. It's like I said. Like there's so many options, right? But like, just do it. Just do Hellgates. And the thing with Hellgates too, you don't even need to start in the black zone. There's blue and yellow zone Hellgates. You can do Hellgates without losing gear. Like, they're so like GVGs are so accessible. If you want to do it, then you'll be able to do it. But don't mistake wanting to GvG with wanting to win. There's a complete difference there.
So you
If you
think
only wanna win, then don't play.
you think Hellgates is a real good way to start learning?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, the best way to learn would be to watch every stream that you can, see what the meta builds are, talk to as many people as you can. But obviously, you're going to get the most experience from playing. But I see so many people, even in Hellgates, that have played the game for significant lengths of time, that have no idea what good builds are. They have no idea what items do or why these combinations are good. Like, shit, I even have some GvGers in my guild that aren't that active that have no idea how to fucking build a class. Like, you know, knowledge is power. The game is fairly simple. The more you know, the better you'll be.
Got it. All right. Any shout outs you want to give?
Nah, dude. I mean, obviously, like, shout out to Money Guild and the Oops Alliance. Other than that, not really. Everyone else can suck a dick.
Awesome. What about you, Overdose?
I just want to do a shout out to a bunch of newbies because I'm gonna shamelessly plug them. Because they today started creating their first own content. I'm pretty proud.
That's awesome. I'm gonna give a shout out to the wonderful motherfucking cocksuckers who took down on my fucking website and Discord. So thank you. That was wonderful.
All right, boys. I'm gonna hop out of here. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you as well. Cheers.
All right, see you guys later.
All right. Well, I guess that was that.